I figure I'm gonna go ahead and do today's. And I don't know if you can tell, my hair's a little wet. My blue's coming out. Fresh from the storage shed. I went ahead and filmed my getting the Christmas decorations out of the storage. Mainly because my boss switched my schedule around and I had time to do it. So, and I have other videos planned for tomorrow and stuff I gotta do on those days. So, basically, there's a few things that are gonna get changed around. But, it doesn't really matter, I'm gonna do them all. So, today's was mental health issues and like my thoughts and feelings on that. On the storage video. That's why it sounds hoarse. But half of it wound up being upside down, so I got to figure out how to flip that around. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to go about doing that. I may download a video editor that lets me do it, and because it's not really going to matter. You don't see my face in any of it. It's just me talking and pointing at stuff. So I think I can download a video editor and flip that around and make it work. Unless I can figure out how to do it online. So anyway, today's topic was mental health. And if this is shaking a little bit, my harness isn't doing the greatest lately. I'm not entirely sure what's wrong with it. It might just be because it's on the window, but it's been vibrating all over the place, and I need to get either get a better harness or get it replaced. I'm not entirely sure what's up with it. I'm going to try the stabilizing effect on the website and see if that helps. I got to check it on the other video first. But anyway, let's get to today's topic and stop rambling about nothing. So, mental health issues. I actually did get diagnosed with quite a few things when I was younger. I don't know what I actually still have. I haven't been on medication since I was about 17. I have a... this is my bracelet that I was talking about in one of my other videos. It was my tattoo video. Don't even think about it, dude. I'm going faster than you. But that bracelet, it has, it's called the Chains of Insanity. And what it is it's a spell-casted... You fucking decide what the fuck you're doing, dude. Fucking jackass. I'm doing like 75 and you're on my ass. It's not that important. But it is a spell-casted, basically a mood stabilizer. It's also an anxiety reliever. And, see, that guy just went right in front of me and just, whatever. Ugh. And it helps with like moments where I have anxiety because I play with it. It does all kinds of things. It's there for my sanity. But so I have OCD, and everything has to be just so. It kind of drives me nuts when it's not. I've kind of learned to deal with it and not let it get to me. I don't have the OCD where I have to knock on walls 3 times or anything like that. I know some people do suffer from that form. OCD, like every other mental disorder, is a broad spectrum. It is a disease you have to live with. And then let's see what else I have. I have mild anxiety issues. I don't really have that big of a problem with it. Sometimes for no reason I'll just freak out, but I'm very good at internalizing it and making it so that nobody else really knows that I'm having an anxiety attack at the time. Meeting new people bothers me. Rooms full of people bother me. getting random calls from people like my sister where, like the other day, she invited me over after work. You know, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I know there was nothing behind it. I knew there was nothing behind it, but like in the back of my head, I was thinking, oh God, what did I do? What does she need to talk to me about now? What's going on? What is this bad? You know, like, is it bad news? Is there something going on? But, you know, it was just, she just wanted to hang out and talk for a couple of hours, you know, because she wasn't sleeping, and she knew I was going to be awake because I'd just gotten off of work. So, I mean, it's just like stupid shit like that, you know, and then like I'll go to lay down at night and I'll just like, just go over everything over and over and over and over and over until, you know, I pass out or my brain just gives up, and, you know, and then I've got all those self-doubts and everything like that. So there's those, and then I have both forms of BPD, okay? So there's BPD, which is bipolar disorder, meaning I have my highs and my lows. I have my manic and my depression. And then I also have borderline personality disorder, which they say it's the same thing. They lump it all in with one, and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have a separation anymore. But it's basically the same thing, except for I don't have like it's, you know, I don't always have happy and depressed. I have shut off, depressed, manic, where I feel like I can take on the fucking world and win, which most of the time I feel like that anyway. But, and then I have my like ultimate just shut down in bed for 3-4 days lows. It's basically the same thing as bipolar disorder in some ways. But there's again, with both of those, there's a broad spectrum. I was also told, but I was never formally diagnosed with it, that I have DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, which is part of the where I just completely shut off and I go into autopilot. I do have like an alter ego, alternate personality type thing, but it's not like, nobody would notice. I think only one person has ever really picked up on it, and it's because, you know, he suffers from the same thing, and I have that mirroring disorder. So whenever like he was having a moment or an attack or whatever, I would have them, and I would have like minor twitches and stuff, and like I'd say things that like I normally wouldn't say in everyday. So like, I don't know, I don't really know how to explain it. It's part of the DID. And it's basically what it is it was when I was a child, I had my ways of coping with the things that I was going through. And so I created like different, not necessarily different identities, but sort of, to deal with the different situations that I was dealing with, the different people that I was dealing with, because I had to act a certain way around certain people. I'm gonna go ahead and light this one, sit here at the red light. And then, that one's up now. And then, so some of it's formally diagnosed, some of it's not. Some of it was mentioned by my psychologist and then never followed through, because DID is one that's very, very, very hard to diagnose in the end, because you can't prove whether the person is faking it or not. So it's, you have to, and especially since most of the time you are just you, and it's something triggers it, and the personality that you normally are shuts down and the other ones take over, or something like that. Now my friend has, my friend that I was talking about, that I was mirroring his attacks, basically what was going on was he actually has multiple personalities, and he's a sweet kid. I love him to death. But he's got multiple personalities. So when his multiple personalities would take over, I knew what he was going through. I could sit down and be with him and understand, because when I shut down and I go absolute autopilot, I will black out. And it'll be 24 hours later, and like I'll suddenly come to, and I'm at work, and everything's going just the way it's supposed to go, nothing's different, but I don't remember like the last 24 hours or something like that, so like, and usually when that happens, like what I do remember is either sitting in a corner on a stool, like just rocking back and forth to myself, even though I'm actually living my entire life, and stuff like that. It's very rare. It's happened like once in the past couple of years, so it's not something that happens to me all the time anymore. It's not, I did have a break where it actually did happen, and I was literally like, it was bad. I woke up to all kinds of stuff, like, I don't know, I was posting all sorts of weird shit on my social media. I was talking to someone that I don't normally talk to. It was just weird stuff going on for like a whole like week. And I came to, like I said, I was at work. I hadn't missed a day of work, so my autopilot was still functioning. I was still doing what I was supposed to be doing, but at the same time I was doing these really odd things that I really don't remember doing. So I mean, like, having a personality disorder, it's really scary sometimes, especially when you have an attack, or when you have whatever you want to call it, a moment, an attack, whatever. I don't know like all the terminology anymore. It's been a while since I even looked into it, because I don't normally have them anymore. But after my mom died, I know I shut down for like a month, and like nobody could really get through to me. Like, during that month I was still conscious, and I was still there, and I was mainly on autopilot. But at the same time, I knew what was going on. I knew I was extremely, extremely depressed. And I knew I had to get my ass up. I had to go to work. I had to take care of my kids. I had to live my life and try and move on from mom passing away. And it was like it was like 2 months after she passed away, and it just fucking hit me. It hit me, and it took me down, and I was out for like a month, and I don't even really remember that month. But I know I was working, and matter of fact, that was the month I started working for this company. So I know I was still functioning, but I was so far down and out that it just didn't register with me. And then the one I had after that was, I want to say it was September of last year, so somewhere around September of 2016. Matter of fact, I think it was the day after my mom's birthday. I have a whole 24 hours I don't remember. And like I said, I basically woke up at work, on my phone. I had posted a bunch of random weird stuff on my social media, which I of course deleted as soon as I did. As soon as I noticed it was there. I had a conversation with an ex-boyfriend of mine that I hadn't talked to in years. I think I went over to his house. I really don't know. There was a bunch of stupid, just random shit that I found on my phone that I was like, why would I do that? What is this? And it was, I just wasn't there. And what I remember from during that time, I don't remember going to work. I woke up at work. I remember, I don't even know what I remember really. Like there's nothing there. There's like a blank space. It was really weird. So I have the whole range of, personality crap, and everybody has it nowadays, and I don't really have a problem with it anymore. But it is not your turn. But it is something that, I have to watch out for. At that point last year, I was going to go back to a doctor and get back on meds. The reason I'm not on meds is, one, because they make you your guinea pig for the first like 2 years until they find something that works. And what they mean by works is it shuts you down. And I remember what that was like when I was 16. Just being on autopilot all the time. It was crap. I didn't want to go back to that. And, I think a lot of the problem with what was going on last year was because I was struggling to make bills. I was worried about taking care of my kids. I was worried about getting to work. I was worried about losing the property. I was worried about just everything. And there was so much stress on me that my whole entire brain just shut down. So I think that's what it was. I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Now, in my family, this runs deep, okay? My sister has a lot of the same issues. My brother has a few of the same issues. He's actually seeking help for them right now. My sister is trying to get help for hers as well. So we're just, going through as best we can. And the biggest problem is in this county, there's a lot of drug users. So you go to the doctor and you tell them that you need psychotropics because that's what they give you when you have these disorders. You go to the doctor and you tell them that you need psychotropics to make these disorders stop, and they call you a fucking druggie, and they tell you that they can't prescribe that to you, or that you're faking it, or any other random thing. And so that's where the hitch has been with going to the doctor and getting shit straightened out for like me and my sister. Me, I handle it very well. Everything is, I keep everything internally. I just totally spit on my steering wheel. I keep everything internally and no one ever sees that I'm having these issues. I rarely talk about it. The only person that really knows what's going on was my best friend who has the multiple personality disorder. I have talked with him in depth about it. He has seen me come back from an attack. And I have also sat with him through a couple of attacks. And so, being that I have somebody that can relate to it, and because he's just getting his diagnosis, he's actually more up to date on what it is. I haven't spoken to him in a couple of months. He actually moved out of town, and communication has been really hard. He actually had some really bad shit happen to him just recently, but he's getting himself back up off of his feet, and mental health is something that everybody needs to understand. It is an invisible disease. You do not know that the person sitting next to you has it. You would never know, unless of course, they're doing something like people with Tourette's, they're, moving around, they're knocking shit over and yelling and doing all kinds of shit like that. Or people who have like epilepsy, like my older brother. Those are the ones that that there's something mentally wrong with them. Most people you can't even tell. Most people you can't tell that they're so extremely depressed that it takes all of their strength and all of their willpower not to just break down crying. And I think the only ones who actually really understand are the people who are dealing with it, and the problem is 80% of America deals with these issues. Hell, 80% of the world deals with shit like this. And we don't talk about it. We don't, we may talk about it with like one or two of our friends, but other than that, we don't talk about it because we don't want our work finding out. We don't want, our family finding out that we're having problems. We don't want, just the world to know these issues. And so we internalize it, we keep it to ourselves, and then like somebody has a psychotic break and does stupid shit, and I'm not discrediting that happens, but at the same time, there are those of us like me who are completely functioning, and you would never know. You would never know if I hadn't said anything. You would never know what my issues were. You would never know what's going on in my head. Even the people at work didn't know when my mom passed away. The lady, the nurse at the hospital when my mom was, in the hospital, she was really surprised because, most people, when their mother is dying, they break down and cry. But I didn't do any of that in the hospital. I didn't do it where anybody could see me. I literally, at one point in time when my mom was in the hospital, I did go out to my car and sit down in my car and just start bawling. And I the whole screaming, crying, beating the steering wheel, and then I cleaned myself up and I went back in. And nobody would have known. Nobody knew, that's the thing is some of us are so high functioning about it that we can't get the help that we need because nobody believes us, and that's part of the problem. So, I understand all of the little things behind it. So I don't really know what else to say. I've just kind of ranted about, all of it for the last 20 minutes. So I'm going to, go ahead and shut this down. I'm almost to the construction site. Hopefully this wasn't as shaky. I stabilized the camera as much as I could. But as always, like, subscribe, share, comment. If you have anything you want to talk about, somebody you need somebody to talk to, I'm there. I have no problem with being a shoulder to lean on, an ear to listen. And I understand the shit because I've been through shit my entire life. And I've learned ways to deal with it. And I may not always know what to say, but if you need someone to talk to, I'm there, So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and shut off and sign off for the day. Tomorrow I'm going to do the regular segment. And then I'm also going to do, just because I'm a girl doesn't mean I can't. I'm going to change the oil on my truck because it needs to be done. I am, holy geez, 3,000 miles over my limit. and my engine's brand new, so it needs to be done before too long. So tomorrow, that's what I'm gonna do before work, because I don't have to be at work until 4. So I've got a whole extra 2 hours. So that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. So tomorrow's gonna be a twofer. But other than that, I'm gonna sign off, and I hope you have a great day. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Social media is down below. Have a good day.